All right, folks. Um, well, we've been telling people for some time that these court cases are being converted into stocks and bonds and traded on the stock market. We gave people the I posted it before, which was the trust fund journal that the judge and the clerk of the court fills out in order to convert the bonds into stocks and bonds that could be traded on the stock market via a what's called a QSIP or auto trust account numbers. Okay, so basically, what they're converting into stocks and bonds onto the stock market is these documents that we now have in our possession. There are three documents, and the three documents are the bid bond, which is this form that's on top. You can take a look at it. And essentially, whenever you see the word bond, we're talking about an insurance policy. So whenever you hear the word bond, we're talking about an insurance policy. All right. So this bond is used by any corporation um, who is familiar with the court processes and proceedings and stuff like that, and who has information that the court cases can actually be purchased. So when the court case is presented, um, these bonds have to be filled out, and these bonds are the purpose for them is to take control of the court case and to finance the whole entire process, paperwork, filing fees, the judge's fees to actually handle the case, the clerk, the bailiffs, everyone involved in the court case is paid through these bonds. And the initial bond, it's a bid bond. So actually what it is it's a bond that's set up to be bidded for. And this is what they do. They bid on your court case. They bid on actually getting the court case up and running. And because we didn't have any information about this, this whole process or what have you, the prosecutors are the ones who get these bonds and they fill them out on our behalf. But they fill them out and use them against us. And later on, I have other forms. Here they are, and it shows you exactly how to fill it out. We'll go over that in a minute. But I just want to give us an understanding of what these bonds are and why they're used. So basically, they're insurance policies. And so the initial bond is the bid bond. This is used for bidding on the actual case and, getting the case rolling. You know what I mean? So that's the bid bond there. The next bond, it has to support the bid bond, and each one of these bonds support each other. All right. And so the performance bond is used to be an insurance policy on an insurance policy. This insurance policy is backed by this insurance policy, which is the performance bond. All right. Now, the performance bond, the purpose of the performance bond is to guarantee that the what is as far as the contract is concerned, it's guaranteeing that the contract will be fulfilled, and if it is not, then it will be paid out, and that's the performance bond. So they're actually paying for performance. They're paying for the case to actually be done and fulfilled, the contract for the court case. All right. So that's the insurance policy for that. And then the performance bond is then backed by a payment bond. The payment bond is an insurance policy against the performance bond. Now, the payment bond, the purpose of the payment bond is for anything that is in need of being paid for or compensated. Okay. And so each one of these policies have to be in place. Each one of these bonds, have to be in place. All right. In order for any court case to work. The one who controls these bonds, who has the highest bid on using these bonds, is the one that controls the court case. All right. And the individual that I actually benefited from in getting these documents, because I've been looking for these for quite some time, he actually took control of his court case. And what happened was, as a result of that, the prosecutor was no longer allowed to put any motions or anything into the record. They couldn't bring anything into the case or anything like that because the one who controls these bonds is the one who controls the entire case. Why? Because they're paying for everything. They're paying for the court papers, the filing, the judges, the prosecutors, the bailiffs, you name it. Even your attorney, if the attorney comes into the case, if it's a court-appointed attorney, then they're paying for them as well. All right, and this is why when a lot of times when we have these court-appointed attorneys, they come into the case, they only fight so much for you because they're being paid by the individual who holds these bonds. And oftentimes, what happens is the prosecutor takes the bonds and fills them out in place of us. And what I mean by that is they actually fill out the bond and use our names and our information. Okay, this is exactly what they do. What I did was I wrote out the bond, filled it out basically as if I was going to do it or file it myself. All right, and the individual that I met that gave me these, he actually did it, and he got results from it. All right, he took control of his case, and no one was able to do anything in the case. No one, and the judge called him personally, private phone call, and discussed the court case with him and asked him what did he want to do with the court case. All right. And once you fill out these bonds, is another thing. Once we fill out these bonds, we are then entitled to compensation from the IRS. And I know individuals personally, who got their checks from the IRS after filling out these bonds, closing out the court case, or taking the incarceration, which is what I did, taking the incarceration and then cashing out. Just a quick side point with regards to the court cases. Every court case that is brought, and if anybody has ever filed a lawsuit, civil suit, or what have you, anytime you file a court case, there's court fees that you have to pay in order to get that case up and running. This is the exact same process. It's nothing different. The only difference is that the prosecutor takes these bonds, fills them out in our names, because we're not doing it. We're not taking control of the court case by getting these bonds and filling them out. The prosecutor then takes these bonds, forges our name and signature, and they're authorized to do it because when we go to the precinct, and those papers that we sign at the precinct, in order for us to get released, that is our permission. That is us giving them authorization to use our signature and social security number. The social security number is our federal account number. The social security number is our federal account number. All right. The account is real. We use it on our money orders. They have cleared. I've paid off debts and everything with these money orders. So the account is very much real. It's not conspiracy theory or speculation or something that I heard. It's something that I actually done. So it's not a question as to whether it's real or not. It's very real. So now, the social security number is the account number. It's no different than any other regular bank account. We all have treasury accounts, and if you know how to access the account, then you can use it. And the two main things that you will always need regarding accessing that account, and these companies and corporations, they do it all the time. When you go to get a house, when you go to buy a car or finance a car, whatever the situation is, you register in school. This is how they get their funding. What do they need? They always need our signature and our social security number. And if you read the back of the social security card, it tells you do not give the number out. Now, if you have a bank account, read the instructions. It tells you the same thing. Do not give the number out to anyone. The social security number is an account number, and that's a fact. It's not speculation. No one's guessing here. It's an actual fact. We have documentation, too much documentation to prove that. So again, going into this bond, the bid bond, again, is bidding onto the case. It's bidding for the case. You state the amount that you want the case to be, how much you're going to bid on the case. All right. And what we put here is $999 million, $999,999.99. All right. Essentially making it, I mean, virtually impossible for anyone to try to bid higher than this. Now, the issue with us is that we can charge it to our federal accounts. So the amount doesn't matter because the federal account, it's unlimited. The federal account is not money. It is a credit account. It is an account in order to set off, settle, and discharge debts. So there are individuals who have accessed their account, and for an example, they may have went to make a vehicle purchase or a home purchase or something like that, utilizing that account. Now, there's a number of ways that you can have that debt paid. You can either make the money orders, and the company, after you give them the appropriate tax forms, once you give them the tax forms and the money order, they'll run the routing number, and it's going to clear because it's connected to the Treasury. So the routing number is the Treasury's routing number that we use. So as soon as they run the routing number, it immediately lets them know that the funds are there. Okay. And then you have to provide them with tax forms, the 1099 OID, a 1096, a 1040, and a 1040V. And I guess at a later date, we can go into some serious detail about what those forms are and how they're properly used in order to do this process. But in brief, the 1099 OID is given the Secretary of the Treasury information about the fact that you are the one that's operating this account. All right, and if anyone other than you operates this account, then they're doing an unauthorized. What do you want to call it? Not a deposit, but they're accessing the account improperly or illegally because you didn't authorize it. All right, so that's what the 1099 OID does. It informs the Secretary of the Treasury that you are going into the account, and it's authorized, and the Secretary of the Treasury is to basically supervise your account, supervise the account. And then you have the 1096, which always accompanies the 1099. Basically, the 1096 is used for the purpose of informing what form or how many forms you've actually filled out as far as 1099s are concerned for that particular year. So the 1096 tells the Treasury, how many forms, how many 1099 OIDs you actually filled out or what have you. It's just basically to give them a count, a documented count of how many you're using, and it also establishes when you are going to finish filing forms for that particular year, because it actually has a box, and you're supposed to put an X in a box when it's your last filing. All right, so that's the 1096. Then you have the 1040. The 1040 form. The purpose of the 1040 form is it's basically it's a receipt. It's a claim receipt. And basically, it's for an example. I'll give us an example. Like you go to a club or something like that. For those who go to clubs, or let's say you do layaway, something like that. Okay. You put your money down, or you submit your coat into the courtroom, into the courtroom, and they give you a receipt. That receipt or ticket, it lets them know when you come back that you are entitled to whatever slot, hanger, or whatever that ticket is connected to. It lets them know that whatever's in that area where that ticket belongs, it belongs to you, and you ought to be given that back. So that's what the 1040 form does. All right, and the 1040V form is a voucher form, and basically what you're doing is you're vouching for the individual who's now accessing your federal account. So you use the 1040V form when, say, for an example, you're going to a dealership, or you're going to do business with a company or a corporation, and they're going to deduct the funds from your account. Like you go to do a student loan or what have you. You know what I'm saying? You would fill out a 1040V form, you know what I'm saying, and submit that with your money order or what have you. And then, voucher form, you're vouching for them to be, a valid individual who is allowed to go into your federal account. So, hold on a second. Let me just acknowledge my people that just showed up. So that's what the 1040V forms are used for. So once you got that established, then you also want to add to that. You also want to add to that the Form 56. Form 56 is the appointment of fiduciary trustee. So you're going to use the Form 56 as a means to assign the Secretary of the Treasury as your fiduciary trustee and basically give them the instructions to open the account and allow these people to deduct the amount from the account that you stated on the tax forms and what you put into the money order. So that's what those forms are used for. All right. So when you submit these bid bonds, you're also going to have to submit those tax forms as well. All right. So now here's the bid bond. You're going to put your name. You're going to put your address. All right. And obviously the state. It's going to be a joint venture. All right. The joint, and we'll explain that a little bit later. Actually, we can explain that now. The joint venture is you, the living person, and your legal fiction or the your corporation that they created with your birth certificate and stuff like that with your social security number. So this is the account. These two right here make your federal account. All right. Being a living person does not make the account. The fact that you were born and they created a birth certificate, that's what entitles us to the account. The birth certificate is our receipt to the account. Essentially, when we were born, our parents, when they filled out that paperwork for the birth certificate and the social security card, what they actually were doing was because the United States is a corporation. There's no secret about that. Google it. It's there. I don't want to go into any detail about that. So anyway, what happened was the United States is bankrupt. And that's a fact since 1928. People are saying 1933. No, it's been going on since 1928 when they started to do the initial Hague Conventions or the Geneva Conventions. Either what you can call it, whatever you want to call it, Geneva Convention or the Hague Conventions. The very first Geneva Convention was in 1928. They already knew that the United States was bankrupt. They were already bankrupt in 1928 before the Depression, before the what do you call it, recession. It was 1928. It was already known that the United States government was bankrupt, and so they started the Geneva Conventions in I believe it was Switzerland, 1928. And basically, the reason for those conventions, that's why they constantly have them. Take a look and research it. Check it out for yourself, man. Nobody's freestyling there. They have these conventions regularly because what happens is they did what's called a reorganization. And if you looked at my other post, you'll see I put that book up, the CPA Excel exam book for the Certified Public Accounting, CPA, Certified Public Accounting. And basically, it breaks down, the process of bankruptcy and, what the creditors, which is the World Bank, what they can do when they have someone who's in debt to them. They can either liquidate your estate, in other words, sell everything that you own. They can take possession of it and sell everything that you own, or they can do what's called a reorganization. The purpose of the reorganization is when they want you to continue to operate, because financially it would make sense for the creditors, because now they can actually get paid the full amount and add interest on top of what you owe them. So that's essentially what they're doing with the United States government. They reorganized the United States government. And in the reorganization, what happens in the reorganization is, the rules can change, and the creditors then control what's stated, or rather how the rules or how the business is going to operate. And hence you have what's called the UCC, which is the Uniform Commercial Code. That is the laws that govern commerce, doing business in every matter. All right. So the original Constitution has been, it hasn't been eradicated or taken out. It's simply been moved to the side. So now you have two constitutions operating at the same time. All right. You have a corporate constitution, which is under the UCC, which is what everybody believes which is what everybody's operating under, and they believe that they're operating under the original Constitution, but that's not the case. On the face of things, the operation that the United States is operating under is under the corporate constitution. However, in order for you to operate under the original constitution, then you have to invoke it, and you have to object to the other jurisdiction, the commercial jurisdiction, because the commercial jurisdiction, it's voluntary. But if the individual can trick you into entering into their jurisdiction by questions like, do you understand? And you say yes, then you just agree to enter into their jurisdiction. All right. So that's the corporate constitution. And that is the new constitution that they implemented once the United States went into bankruptcy back in 1928. All right. So they created these laws and codes that the United States would operate under. And it's new laws, but what they did was they did it very, very cunningly, because they knew there were some people who still were quite familiar with what the original Constitution said. So what they did was they made a lot of the things in the corporate Constitution similar to what is in the original Constitution. For one example, just a quick example, in the original Constitution, it says that we have unalienable rights. In the corporate Constitution, it says that we have inalienable rights. Okay, so now with unalienable rights, it means that is in unalienable rights. In other words, they cannot put a lien on your rights. They can't take them away. They can't remove them. They can't, deprive you of them. That's in the original Constitution. In a corporate Constitution, which is what this country seems to be operating under for the most part, because people are unaware, it says not unalienable, it says inalienable. And in means that it is in a lienable state. In other words, they can put a lien on our rights. And this is how you drive a vehicle and they tell you, well, you need to have a license. Or you say, well, I don't want to take that medical procedure, and they can force you to take the medical procedure. I don't want to vaccinate my children, and they force you to vaccinate the children. Okay, I got somebody coming. I got somebody at the door. Let me address this, and then I'll come back and talk to you people. All right, that's it. All right, folks, I'm back. I apologize for that. Had a little guest do a little bit of house cleaning and stuff. All right, so essentially that's what it is. You have a reorganization, and they changed the words when they created the new Constitution, the corporate Constitution. What they did was they essentially changed some of the wording in it and removed rights and made them and converted them into privileges. And that's why you see my video. Those of you who saw the video, if you haven't, then it's on the Facebook page, where I'm operating the vehicle without a license, no registration, no inspection, no license plates on the vehicle. My wife is in the front seat. My 9-month-old son at that time, 9-month-old, he was sitting in her lap while I was driving like that. Not being dangerous, just wanted to make a point to show people that this thing is real. So you saw the video, this 15-minute video. They pulled us over. I gave them my documents, let them know I'm not operating under the UCC. I'm operating under the organic Constitution of the United States of America. And after a few minutes, he came back, gave me my documents. You look at the video. I have no tickets. He was talking about he was going to arrest me. I laughed at him. You don't know, because everyday officers, everyday clerks and stuff like that, the regular people who's just doing the job, they have what's called in law plausible deniability. They're not told this stuff, just like we weren't told and we had to go and figure it out. They are not told this stuff. So they have what's called plausible deniability. They have plausible deniability, and basically they can just continue to do their job the way that it's normally done every day and disregard what you're saying. But because the law is the way that it is, what they did was they put a clause or a stipulation inside of their policy and procedure, which is when you deal with one of these officers or these agents, you have the absolute right to demand a supervisor to come. And if you watch my videos, you'll notice that things change when the supervisor comes. When the regular officer is there, they're saying what they normally say. You're going to lock you up. We're going to do this to you. We're going to handle you, But once the supervisor comes, you'll actually see the whole situation change. And another thing that I would like to mention to the people also is that, and this is every time I experience this situation with these people, when the supervisor comes, they get your documentation, see what you got. They shoot a few things at you because they got to make sure that you are who you say you are and that you ain't one of these dudes running around, learned a little bit of this information and just start running your mouth and then, you're just trying to get over. So they're going to test you. They're going to ask you some things, you know what I'm saying? And if you don't respond properly, they got you. They're going to bag you up. But if you give them the correct answers, the supervisor, and the reason why they call them supervisor is because they have a supervision to see beyond what the average officer will see. And so whenever you request a supervisor, they must get the supervisor. They don't have a choice. They may try to tell you no, but you let them know, no, you have to get the supervisor. I'm not asking you, I'm telling you. You know what I'm saying? So the supervisor comes, they see the documents, they know what's going on. They know it's an absolute fact. Watch my videos, you'll see it happen every time. They absolutely know what's going on. So what they do is they take the documents, they slide over to the side, they look it over. Yep, looks good. And then they tell the officer, give him back his stuff and let him go. And that's what happens. The supervisor never comes back. Once they've tested you and saw that you know what you're doing, the supervisor slides out of the picture and they tell the officer, give him his stuff back. And the officer comes back with the usual sheepish look on their face, looking humiliated and defeated, and give you back your stuff. Sometimes they have a little attitude, but that doesn't matter because they lost. It doesn't matter. You can have an attitude. You lost. So that's what happens. And for some reason, I'm going to figure this out. One of these days, we're going to figure it out. They always send back the officer who was doing the most talking about what they're going to do and how they're going to lock you up. For some reason, they always give it back to that officer and have that officer come back and bring it to you. I don't know why that is. We'll figure it out later. But anyway, going back to what we were talking about. Okay, so here is the bid bond. You're going to put the all capital name, which is the name that the account is in. The all capital name, not your proper case name. The all capital name, that's what the account is in, your social security number. Then you're going to put an amount in here. All right. You do not have to put this amount. This is what I chose to do. This is a template, by the way, folks. All right. This is what I chose to do because when I take control of my court case, when I purchase the court case, that's exactly what these forms are doing. They're purchasing the court case. You're paying everybody involved in the court case through these forms. All right. And that's why they're insured. I put this amount because I don't want anybody going higher than me. And it's not even likely that they're going to put this kind of money up because a regular court case, it's $2 million per count. So if you got 3 charges, all right, let's just say burglary, forceful entry, and theft of possession of stolen property. Okay, there's 3 charges. It's $2 million per charge. Each charge is $2 million. So you're talking $6 million for your entire court case. All right. So now if you get one of these bid bonds and you put a number like this in there, nobody's messing with that because they're not going to make any money off of it at all. In fact, everything is a loss because nobody can touch this. And the prosecutor, the problem with the prosecutor is they must produce the funds up front. And that's why they fill these forms out with our information and then bring the court case against us. And because we don't ask for these forms when we go into court, they body us. All right. Now, there's other ways you can beat the court cases, other things you can say, but this right here ends court cases, period. You go into the court, you have every right by law to tell the judge, release to me the orders of the court. And these are the orders of the court. I want you to release to me the orders of the court. And they have to give you these forms. And when you get these forms, you'll see that it's already filled out. How did that happen? The prosecutor. He filled it out already. So all you have to do is then endorse it. All right. You have to then endorse it. And then here where it says corporate seal, because every insurance company has its seal. So you must also have a seal. You must have a family seal. And anybody who knows anything about, ancient history or what have you, you'll notice kings used to have their seals. They would put that red thing and then imprint into that red thing the seal of the king. All right. People, when they would make contracts or pacts in the past, they would prick their finger and put their finger onto the document to show, this is a real person that's actually signing off on this document, and it's a blood trust. This is what it is. And this is one of the reasons why we sign documents in red. All right. And this is why the Pope, a lot of people don't know this, but the Pope only signs in red because the concept is that he's supposed to be, and this is their belief, I don't particularly believe it, but he's supposed to be the representative of the Christ on earth. And it's a blood trust. So he has a blood trust with the church to represent Jesus Christ on earth. So he only signs in red. All right. So that's just a little side tidbit. Here is the invitation number. The invitation is the court case. The court case is the invitation. So you will put your court case number here. All right. Under invitation number. And then it's asking you here for construction supplies or services. You're going to use for services. All right. Here is the principal. Who is the principal? Who is the one that's the funds are actually in the control of? Who's actually running the show? The principal would be us. So you're going to sign, and you're going to put your name, proper case, and you're going to also put the authorized representative. All right. And then, of course, you're going to put your seal here. All right. And you're going to do it with red ink. And the way that you can do that, there's a number of ways you can do it. The real easy way is to go to Staples, Office Max, any place that sells office supplies, and you get what's called an ink pad. You get an ink pad. I have a red one. I have a blue one. I need to get a black one too, but I don't have a black one yet. But I have a red one and I have a blue one. I keep the red one with me at all times. All right. And then you take your thumbprint, your right thumb, and you put it on the document right in this area here. Why? Because every insurance company has its own seal. All right. All right. And here you're going to go down the name and address. The name and address is for the surety, the corporate surety, which is our all capital name. And this is the way that they situated. This is the way that they created it. So you would do that, and then you would add the address also. All right. And the address that you will put in there is the same address that you use when you file the UCC-1 financing statement to become a secure party creditor. You use on your birth certificate in the top right-hand corner most of the time. But now, as of recently, they've been taking it and putting it on the back. It doesn't really matter. But anyway, on the top right-hand corner of your birth certificate, there's barcodes. Underneath those barcodes are numbers. That is the number that will allow you to get the QSIP and AutoTrust account number. All you have to do is just call a stockbroker. You call a stockbroker and you give them that number and you tell them that you have bonds that you want to locate. And you give him that serial number off the top of your birth certificate. And like within about a half hour, they'll come back and give you the QSIP and AutoTrust account number, which essentially is your birth certificate or your Social Security number with or without the dashes. All right. And it's written about 3 different ways. The first 2 numbers, then a dash. You write out the rest of the numbers together. That is the AutoTrust account number. Then the QSIP number is all the numbers in one line, no dashes. All right. And that's also your exemption number. And then you have the Social Security number, which is the actual account number. Some little side information for us. Then you're going to sign, right? You're going to sign on behalf of the corporation, which is the corporation that they created in our name. So the way that the corporation signs is like that. Or if you want to develop a different way of actually doing a signature, different than the way that you do your regular signature for the corporation, you can do that as well. Or you could just, do a symbol, sign, whatever, because all of those things in law, if you look in the CPA book, it explains anything that you use, whether it's a sign, symbol, or what have you, that you use regularly to authenticate something being from you, then that is considered a signature. All right. So printing it, that's a signature, if that's how you sign. All right. Then name and title. So you're going to put the name again, all capital name, and I mess around and put it over here because I kind of ran out of space over here. But this ens legis, which means like the legal entity, trust account, and the trust account is the federal Social Security number account. It's in the Treasury. The Treasury has the account. They're controlling the account. And then the liability is $10 billion. So we're putting our liability will be $10 billion. If anything goes wrong, then $10 billion. Where do we get the $10 billion from? from the same account, the Social Security number, the federal account. So we never have to worry about money. We should not be worried about money. This is why when we go into court, these judges be looking at us crazy, because it's like these people don't even realize that they have unlimited accounts and they're not using them. And here they are running, robbing and stealing, selling drugs, starving to survive, and they have an unlimited account, and all they have to do is just learn how to access it. Learn economics, and you will be able to control your account. You won't need for anything. You will not need anything. You just have to learn, and that's what we need to do. So here, what you're going to do is you're going to then put your right thumbprint right there, because that is the seal for the corporate entity, which is the account. So you're going to put your seal, because every insurance company has to have a seal. All right. So if we're using this account now is insuring us as the principal. All right. So they must have a seal. So you put your right thumbprint there, and that is your seal. All right. Performance bond. It's essentially the same thing. We're not going to drag this out. You're going to put your original name, your real name, spell it proper, upper lowercase, your address, right? And then the surety, again, you're going to put the all capital name, the corporate name, and the Social Security account. Essentially, it's the same thing as the first one. Like I said, each one of these bonds, they support the other one. You know what I'm saying? So, again, it's a joint venture, right? You and your legal fiction is taking care of this. New York is the state. And again, a dude that asked me, like, is it important, upper, lowercase, you know what I'm saying? It doesn't matter. You could do it all uppercase, or you could do it upper, lowercase, however you want to do it. Doesn't really matter. Just get it in there. Of course, you're going to put the amount again of how much you're bidding for the case. All right. The contract date is the date of arraignment. That's the day you came in. So the date of arraignment is the contract date. That's when everything started. All right. Really, it started at the precinct, but when it officially started was the day of arraignment. Your appearance bond. All right. And then the contract number again is the case number. And we come down and we're going to do the process the same exact way. And we actually got typed in authorized representative. Sign, put your name, authorized representative. All right. And then of course you're going to Redding thumbprint this again. All capital. Put the address, which is and I forgot to mention that. I'm sorry, I apologize. You're going to put the address. The address is going to be, the number of the address is going to be the serial number on the top right-hand corner of your birth certificate with that barcode. That number is the number of the address. And then you're going to put the street address of the hospital that you were born in. And like in my case, that hospital no longer exists. So what I did was, I took the number and I just simply put the number in there. All right. And then I put the town and the state that it was, that hospital was originally in. All right. So that's what I did. And if anybody's in that similar situation, that's what you should do. That's what I did on my UCC1, and it was accepted. The all capital name again for the signature, then all capital name again here as the title, and as the name and the title. The title is the ens legis. It's a legal fiction, and it's a trust fund account. All right. The funds is 10 billion, and then you're going to take a black ink right thumbprint and put that there. All right. That's the bid bond, the performance bond, and now we have the payment bond. The payment bond is done the exact same way. Nothing's different. Everything is the exact same way, because each one of these documents support the other one. All right. So essentially, we don't have to keep going over it. It's the same exact thing. And once you've done this, then what you would do is you would get the tax forms. And I'm waiting for those tax forms to get to me today. They're supposed to be on their way here today. I got somebody bringing my baby bringing them to me today. But you take the tax forms, the 1099 OID, the 1096, the 1040, 1040V, and the Form 56, where you're appointing the Secretary of the Treasury to actually handle this account and take care of this matter for you. Pay it out, in other words. Give these people the money. The other thing about these forms, like we use estate money orders to pay for like big payments, cars, houses, and stuff like that. We use the estate money orders for that. I mean, you can buy, if you want to buy a laptop, you can buy an iPhone. Matter of fact, the dude that taught me, he had like 4 or 5 iPhones just off the money orders he's been doing. He's got a couple of laptops. He at one point he had about 5 cars just, just there. He actually gave them away to a couple of friends when he moved. But anyway, you use the estate money orders for, purchases. I would say a purchase over, over about $500. Anything over $500 or so, I would use the estate money orders. You cannot use the money orders for these payments. You can't use the money orders. And this is why we say you really should be a secured party creditor, because as a secured party creditor, you have the authorization and you are the authorized representative of this guy here by law, and it's recognized, it's recorded, it'll be recorded in the Secretary of the State's office as you being a secure party creditor and having a security agreement in place, which gives you a right to everything that this name owns. So you would have to use in order to pay for this, you would have to use a promissory note. You have to use a promissory note because they will not accept the money orders. They won't take them. So you have to use a promissory note. Now, the danger of a promissory note is that the one who creates the promissory note is liable. If they come to collect, you have to pay out. You know what I'm saying? So if you use a promissory note to submit these forms, then everything will go through. However, when it comes time for payment, you have to have an avenue in order to pay out. You know what I'm saying? They want their money, you got to pay. So what you would use at that particular point is the money orders, is the estate money orders. When they come to collect, you can now use the money orders. You know what I'm saying? And it's charged against the account. And in fact, you know what? I'm going to give you guys a special treat today. Hold on one second. I'll be right back. All right, and don't tell too many people. Don't tell too many people that I showed you guys this stuff. All right, but these are the money. These are some of the money orders that we use, and yes, it's on real check or money order paper. You can actually purchase this stuff. You can get the package. They have packages in any office supply stores, because offices have to pay their employees. You know what I'm saying? And they have to pay them in checks. So they must have real check paper with security features already in them and everything. And all you have to do is print out the company's information and then pay their employees. Okay, so this is what the money orders look like. This is how we're making them. All right. And essentially, you're going to put the all capital name up top because that's the account you're dealing with. That was my old post office address. This is the number on the top right hand corner of the birth certificate. That's the bond number. That's the bond that's being traded on the stock market. All right, it's the number that's being used to trade those bonds on the stock market. This is on the birth certificate. You have the date you were born, your mother's name, your father's name, going down, and then at the bottom of that list of things, you'll have this number. This is the birth certificate number for the town office or town clerk's office, for them to have in their file so they know exactly where the document is. That's what that number is. And then, of course, a state money order. Please don't name your money orders estate money orders, because I made up this name. This is my name. Don't use that. All right. A state money order is what we came up with. Okay. You can call it, Joe Schmo's money order, whatever, because, Walmart has their money orders, right? They're doing money orders now. The post office has postal money orders. Western Union has their money orders. All these companies have their money orders. And, so, you name it after something that's specific to you. You know what I'm saying? And I chose estate money orders because, yeah, it's my estate. So it's estate money orders. And of course, we put in here to let them know, redeem at United States Treasury. Account legal name is all capital name again, right? Social security number. That's the account number. All right. Actually, I think I'm gonna do an independent video on how to actually create these money orders. I don't want to go into all the details, but this one right here was $1 million money order, and I'm gonna give you a real quick story on this. When I went into court, and the judge was like, he's trying to bring me in custody or whatever. I'm like, I came into court. The judge already. By the way, my judge is on my Facebook page. So I don't know if he's on the legal crest, but he's definitely on the regular on my regular Facebook page. You got to be accepted to come into the legal crest. So I would have caught him on that one. But anyway, him, the prosecutor, and some of the police are on my regular joint. Nobody's in trouble. I'm not in trouble. They just want to see what I'm doing and how I'm doing it because the judge used to call my old probation officer and ask me regularly, like, ask her, what is he doing now? Because I went to the traffic court and I spent, they said I owe $2,200 in traffic tickets. So I made out an estate money order, just like this, for $3,000. And then I gave it to them. The lady called the cops. Cops came. She was trying to get me locked up or whatever. The cop was talking junk. I'm going to lock you up for forged document and all this other good stuff. Beautiful. I hear what you're saying. And I laughed at him too, just like I laughed at the cop that pulled me over. I said, get the supervisor. He went and got the supervisor. The supervisor came, checked the money order, asked me for my documentation. I gave him my traveler's ID, and I gave him my bill of exchange. It's a affidavit that I sent to the Secretary of the Treasury before I started using these money orders, letting him know I'm going to be operating as a bank, discharging debts on behalf of this guy, him. I'm going to be discharging debts utilizing my account, which is with the Treasury. And because you, Mr. Secretary of the Treasury, are in charge of the Treasury, I'm telling you, when you see any one of my presentments coming from me or a company, you are to discharge that debt utilizing this account. So when I showed the supervisor that letter, that affidavit, he went back to the back of the office, he made copies, and he came back out, and I'll tell you exactly what he said. He said, Mr. Booker, um, I'm going to write you your receipt for your money order, for your payment, and I'm going to return to you back your documents. I apologize to you for the inconvenience. And what did he do? Like I said earlier, he gave the documents and everything back to the officer who had the biggest mouth and made him bring it over and give it to me. They gave it to me, and he said, Mr. Booker, you have a nice day. Now, after that, and it's the end of my story, I was reporting to probation every week, every single week. They had me on interim probation. I had to go to Riverhead to do it. Anybody who knows Long Island. So anyway, every time I went out there to report, the probation officer told me, she said, the judge called me again and he asked me what happened with the situation with the money order at the traffic court. And I said, I made a payment. You know what I mean? And she said, yeah. She said the judge also told me to contact the prosecutor and find out what kind of charges they're going to place against you. And she said, well, I called the prosecutor, and the prosecutor said, and I'm quoting exactly what she said. She said the prosecutor said, Mr. Booker has done nothing unlawful, and we will not be pursuing any charges against him. That's exactly what they said, word for word, no exaggeration. So these money orders are absolutely legitimate and they are used. They can be used. I went to the Jaguar dealership. You saw the video. I put down I put $27,000 money order down on that Jaguar F-Pace 2018. They wanted $70,324.17. I put $27,000 money order down on it because that's all the money orders. As you can see, I keep an envelope and I keep it in my briefcase at times, most of the time, and just in case. But that's all I had at the time. I didn't have the full amount for the truck, so I put a down payment so they wouldn't move the truck. They wouldn't, sell it to somebody else. So the man asked me. He said, well, how long does it usually clear? One, I already knew that the law says that they have to all negotiable instruments, and these are the negotiable instruments: checks, promissory notes, money orders. They're all negotiable instruments. They have to clear according to the what was the law? What was the act? God, dog. Securities Exchange Act, I think it was something to that effect. It says they all must clear within 72 hours. You have to have an answer, a answer to whether the bank is going to honor it or not, and it has to be done within 72 hours. So I told him, within a day to 3 days. He was like, okay, no problem, Mr. Booker. After 2 days, he said, I'm going to give you a call when it clears. 2 days later, he gives me a call. He says, Mr. Booker, we need you to come in and make the final payment. You know what I mean? The money order cleared. I said, good. And I was supposed to go, but I ended up coming and going in for this case that I just got out for. You know what I'm saying? Like, I wanted to get this probation off my back and get everything straightened out, and that's done. And get paid for it. Now that I got these, it's time to get paid. So, here we go. Yeah, this thing can go on for a little while. So here, this is the memo, and basically it's in compliance with the Bill of Exchange Act, Public Law 73-10, 40 Statute at Large 411, Chapter 48, 48 Statute at Large 112, and also House Joint Resolution 192, all right, which is the law that they put into place. Actually, it's a resolution. It's not really a law. It's a resolution, but it's just as good as a law because they're going to operate under it. Which is also under the new House Joint Resolution 192 is now Title 31 USC 463, I believe the number is. That's the new code. They got it under that. It's the same law. It's the same law, but it's in those codes now. They've been recognizing it. And as well as UCC 3-603. All right. So this is letting them know that yes, this is lawful. This is the law. These are the laws that say that what I'm doing here is lawful. It's absolutely lawful. All right. And then you sign. And oh man, I'm about to give you guys. Hold on a second. Give me a second. I'm about to give you something else. Hold on. All right. This book, Certified Public Accounting book. This is the book on regulations. Okay. Anybody want to get your hands on it, go get that. You can get it 2018 if you want, you know what I'm saying? But this, I mean, the rules don't change. They're essentially the same. All right, so I want to show you something real quick so that you don't think that your boy is freestyling on this stuff or just coming off the top of his head. This is in Negotiable Instruments. This book is celebrated, all right? It's recognized, and if you want to take a screenshot of the information, I don't want to read it all to you, but this book right here is most widely used. Okay, this is the one that most people use in order to become a certified public accountant. Okay, this is that money book right here. This is not a conspiracy theorist book, gentlemen, ladies and gentlemen. This is the real deal. Okay, now we're gonna go back into these pages. I want to show you something real quick. All right, here we go. And as you can see, boom, boom. You know what I'm saying? I love that right there. All right, check this out. All right, drawers. Anybody who makes a negotiable instrument, a check, a money order, a promissory note, you are a drawer in law. That's what they call you, drawer, or a maker. All right. The drawer accept drawers of a check. Right. So this doesn't apply. This rule does not apply for checks. You can't do this with checks. You can only do it with money orders. All right. And endorsers, anybody who signs, right? That's an endorsement right there. Right. And endorsers, all right, may avoid secondary liability, right? Because if the bank doesn't pay, then they can come after you, all right? So if there's just some weird, crazy, bizarre reason the Treasury says, we're not going to honor this money order. We're not going to pay it, all right? You, the one who signed, is the endorser. So you have secondary liability, all right? Now, this is what it is. You can avoid secondary liability, being responsible, having to pay, by signing without recourse. All right? So once you sign without recourse, then you are free from that responsibility. They cannot come after you. They can't bring you to court. And that's why the prosecutor said Mr. Booker has done nothing unlawful. We will not be pursuing any charges against him. Why? Because on mine, UCC 3-415, if people want to go take a look at it, this is the law that says anyone who signs without recourse, they cannot be held liable. So when I put that on there, that's already letting them know I'm working with this without recourse. And I've avoided secondary liability. They can never come for me. They can only go for the Treasury. They cannot come for me. So now when they want their money and the Treasury doesn't pay, they now have to bring the Treasury into court and then sue them. And they cannot come for me. They can't come for the person who created this document because you already stated that you are without recourse. Without recourse means I don't have a way to handle this. I don't have no way to pay this stuff. Why? Because they took the gold and silver from the people in 1933. It's not conspiracy, people. It's reality. It's really going on. And if it's hard for you to swallow it, then maybe you should read a little bit more, Spend some more time watching a few more videos, you know what I'm saying? But take this thing seriously. It's really going on. It's not somebody playing games. We're not playing games with the law. We are going according to the law. And when you know it, they act appropriately. They respond in the way that they're supposed to. But you have to know what you're doing. You have to know what you're doing. You can't go into this thing half-cocked. Know what you're doing, do the research, and you will be able to, I'm saying, listen, every American citizen is not supposed to be in debt at all. That's the way the Constitution set it up. That's the way they set this thing up with these laws. But the thing is, the law says they have to tell you that there's a remedy, but they do not have to tell you what it is or where to find it. It is our responsibility to find it ourselves. All right. And that's why when you go into court, what do they tell you? Ignorance of the law is no excuse. Because instead of sitting down watching Love and Hip Hop, instead of watching, rap videos all day, you know what I'm saying? Listening to your music all day, occupying yourself with Facebook, of course. But, uselessly occupying Facebook. You know what I'm saying? Make it benefit you. Make it work for you. You see what I'm saying? Make this thing work for you. You know what I'm saying? Study. Turn the TV off. Turn the music off. You hear my look? You hear anything? It's quiet in here because I'm studying. I'm getting this information, man, because I'm tired of these people putting their boots on my neck. And I'm telling you, my main purpose, aside from myself, is to make sure that these people don't get my babies. They're not getting my babies, man. My babies are going to have this information. They're going to have it. They're going to know it. We're supposed to be learning economics, man. This book and books similar to it. And this book covers a lot. Sales, contracts. Very important. You can see almost every page is marked in this book. I'm on this thing, man. You know what I'm saying? Business structure. We have to learn these things. Agency. And you have to understand what agency is, how it operates in court. Regulations of business employment, you know what I'm saying? Things like property. You have to understand what property is. If you got private property, you better know what property is. You know what I'm saying? And taxation, and it covers a lot of topics, man. It also deals with the relationship between the creditor and the creditor and the debtor. And that's when you go into court. If you haven't established your here it is right there, debtor creditor relationships. You know what I'm saying? When you go into court, that's how they're dealing with us. They're dealing with us like we're debtors. And debtors always have to pay. So you either paying money or you paying labor. And that's how they handling us. You know what I'm saying? So going back to the bonds, and again, these are just real quick. I'm just going to a quick glimpse of the money orders. I'm all over the place right now, folks. Just bear with me. But this was $1 million money order. I told the judge to give me a bail. He said no. He already knew I had the money orders waiting. He wasn't going to give me a bail. This is $29,000. This was going to Northland Group. This is going to be my template from now on, because Northland Group no longer has that contract. They gave it back to Capital One when they found out I was coming for them. They gave it right back to Capital One. This is a $500,000 one. We're going to buy a house with this one. Probably within the next couple of months or so, possibly. We'll see what happens. $2,200 and $7,000 and the $29,000. This one's going to Capital. This one goes to Capital One. And the last one is $43,324.17, which was, like I told you people, was the remaining balance for the Jaguar F-Pace. This was the remaining balance right here. I was going to bring it to them. I never got a chance to do it. But I already posted the picture of the contract that I made with these people at Jaguar, stating the amount for the truck and everything. I posted it on the page on the video where I went to the Jaguar dealership. If you look in the comments, you'll see a copy, not a copy, but a picture of the actual contract that we drew up. It's called the Bill of Exchange. I mean, a True Bill in Commerce. I'm sorry. It's called the True Bill in Commerce. And that's what you need in order to discharge these debts. You have to have these people put this stuff in writing. Put what they're saying that you owe in writing. And that's called a True Bill in Commerce. Once you have a True Bill in Commerce, now you make a copy of that. You make a copy of your money order, and you fill out the tax forms, and then you send them in to the Treasury, and the Treasury will they now have the documents showing that there was in fact a real exchange, and they will then pay the bill. They'll matter of fact, here it is right here. Oh man. All right, here you go. Jaguar of Huntington. Jaguar of Huntington. My name, right? So all the information, the extra amenities, crystal fusion, which is, it goes on the windshield. It's like some stuff that they inject into the glass. So like, when you're driving on the highway and a car in front of you hits kicks a rock up or whatever, and it hits your windshield and it cracks your windshield. This stuff here stops that from happening. It stops the windshield from cracking. You know what I'm saying? Some new stuff they put in there. You see how much they want for it, right? These people are serious, man. All right, so and here's the remaining balance what the truck originally was worth, with the additional fees and stuff like that. All this financing, taxes, and all this other extra stuff. It came out to about $70,324.17. I gave him a $27,000 money order, which leaves $43,324.17. And as you can see, look, money order, and that is the money order number. And if you look at my money orders, I'll show you the numbers on the bottom. This is the as you can see, it's very similar to these numbers here, because you can't have the same number. You cannot have the same number, because that's fraud. 219, right? So it was before I made any of these. 220, right? 213, it's getting a little closer. 210, right? So it was made right after this one. Right? And back it up a little bit. It's a little fuzzy. Yeah, so this one was made after this one. All right? And you can see, they clearly put it in there. He paid with a money order deposit, and it was $27,000. All right? And the reason why they didn't put the amount in there is because it was an estate money order. And if they put the amount in there, and let's just say, because I canceled this contract, I canceled it because I couldn't make it back. I went into custody, so I didn't complete the contract. They didn't put the amount in there because if I canceled the contract, then they would have to pay me that in cash. They would have to give me $27,000. So they didn't put the amount in there. They just said I made a deposit, and they gave the money order. So all they have to do is check the filing number for the money order, and then they'll find out how much the amount was. When they first gave me this is a trick they be playing too. So people need to notice if you're going to go to these, if you're going to be dealing with these people making these purchases. Oh, this is for the Can-Am too. When I went to go purchase the Can-Am, this is a MSO. This is what you should be getting. It's a manufacturer's statement of origin. All right, and this is made at the same time that any vehicle is made. This is made. And if you notice at the top, there is no state name at the top. It's not certificate of title, New York State, none of that. This is what you want, because once you register your vehicle, what you actually did in law is you've donated the vehicle to the state, to the government. You donated it to the state. The state now owns it. And then they send you back a certificate of title. This is a certificate of origin for a vehicle. It's not a certificate of title. It's telling you this is the original, the origin. It's coming from the original source. Certificate of title, all right, which is a MSO, manufacturer's statement of origin. So when you get a title, it says certificate of title on top, and then it's got New York State. Whoever name is at the top of that document, they are the true owner of that document. Whoever owns the document represents ownership of a particular property. So you got to, when you get that certificate of title back from the DMV, and you're like, yeah, I own this car. Okay. Well, stop making the payments on it, or stop paying the insurance and everything. Park that car on the side of the road and see what happens. They're gonna get you. They're coming to take that. So you want to be careful with that. So now, yeah. So basically, that's it. Bid bond, performance bond, payment bond. All right, and you get these, and then once you file these to the court case, you take control of the court case. The prosecutor will no longer be able to put any motions or anything into the court case. They can't put anything in. what you will notice is that they will be sending letters, regular mail to the judge, like their buddies or whatever, you know what I'm saying? Like, like a relative or something. I'm gonna mail you a letter, regular mail, not certified, none of that. Telling the judge, listen, we want to do this, we want to do that, we want to do this. And most of the time, the judge is going to say no. Why? Because the prosecutor does not control the case because they're not paying the judge. The one who has these bonds in place is the one who's paying the judge, the clerk, even the prosecutor, the bailiffs, the entire court case, everything involved in that court case, the paperwork, everything. This is how they get paid. And they take these bonds, they use the trust fund journal, and then they put the information of the court case into the trust fund journal, and they send these bonds with the trust fund journal to a broker, to a stockbroker. The stockbroker then converts that into bonds, and then they begin trading them on the stock market. And that's how it's done, gentlemen, ladies and gentlemen. That's how it's done. All right, it's we went kind of long, man, but I just want to make sure that people have this information. You know what I mean? And we got to get this stuff out. There's some more things we're going to go over, some more things we're going to discuss. I got a book coming out. It's called Chain to the Sky. I don't know if I'm going to do it in one book or I'm going to do it in a couple of volumes because there's a lot of information. I'll let you people know, but I've been putting up excerpts of it on this page, on the Legal Crest. Take a read. That's just a little tidbit, taste of what we're going to have in that book. People stay in touch, man. Keep this ball rolling. You know what I mean? We're going to get this information out to the people. We're going to have these people stop playing games with us, man. You know what I'm saying? And get the ball and chain off of our necks, hands, and feet. You know what I mean? This thing is serious, man. Save yourselves and your babies, man. Don't let these people take your children. This is how you stop that. This is how you stop. This is how you put an end to all the nonsense, man. And trust me, when you become a secure party creditor and you learn how to operate in this way, you'll see, man, I'm telling you, immediately you'll see how these people start treating you differently. They don't treat you like everybody else. And when you walk into their courtrooms and they know it's you will visually you can see the nervousness and sometimes fear in their eyes, man. Because they know that the information that we have, they can end up in jail. They can end up in jail or killed because they're committing treason. They're committing treason. They're foreign agents. Public Law 75. Google it. Go to Westlaw. Google Westlaw and go in there and look it up. Public Law 75-583, Title 22, subsection 611. And I'm going to quote it. All public servants must file a foreign agent registration statement, in the office of the Attorney General prior to taking their position in office. They're all foreign agents. That's why they have to swear an oath of allegiance to the Constitution in order to get the job. A security guard doesn't have to do that. When you go to get a job at Walmart or Gap or Gucci or whatever, it doesn't matter. You know what I'm saying? If you're not a public servant, you do not have to swear an oath to support the Constitution. Why? What makes them different? Well, they're enforcing the law. Well, you have security guards that do the same thing, but they don't have to take an oath. Because once they take the job, by the nature of taking that job, they are foreign agents. Because these people, these offices, they were actually arranged for these people to protect and serve. Look at your police cars. See if they got protect and serve on the side of the cars anymore. It's a corporation. That's why it says police on the side or sheriff or whatever. It's in all capital now. Back in the days, it used to be upper lowercase. Now they're all capital. Anytime you see all capital, it's dealing with a corporation. It's a corporation. Look, all capital name, corporation. It's always a corporation when it's all capital name. They're talking to a corporation. They're not talking to a real person. So when they started doing the operating as corporations, they took that protect and serve off the side of the cars because they're not protecting and serving the people anymore. They're protecting and serving the corporate entities that they're working for. The police stations are corporate entities. They're all municipal corporate entities. They're in this thing for money. It's for money. They're doing this thing to make money. Everything. The court case, the proof of it is 27 CFR, subsection 72.11. You know what I'm saying? All crimes are commercial. That's exactly what it says. All crimes are commercial, even murder, robbery, burglary, Grand Theft Auto, you name it. All of that stuff is commercial. It's about money. It's about them making money. And how do we know? Right here. The bid bonds, the payment bonds, and the performance bond. They're making money off of this stuff. They're making money off of us. And we're not trying to stop it. We're just trying to be able to operate in it, because you stop it, you destroy the economical structure of the country. So you don't want to do that. The system is perfect. You don't need for anything. You don't have to fight against it. You flow with it. It's water, baby. Flow with it. You know what I'm saying? They want the money. We have unlimited accounts. Our accounts, every single one of our accounts are unlimited. Why would you want to be selfish? Why would you want to be stingy? And this is why they look at us like we're crazy. This is why they do us dirty like that, because these people are so ignorant. They're so freaking stupid. They have an unlimited account. We just want to get paid. Just pay us. So pay them. Pay them whatever they want. They want $1 million, give them $1 million. They want the amount of money to cover the national debt. Give them the $7 or $9 trillion. Give it to them. Who the hell cares? The account is unlimited. It's not diminishing anything of your account, man. Give it to them. Go into court, fill his joint out, pay the court case, go home. Done deal. And if they happen to trip you up, no problem. You could bounce back, fill out the tax forms, 1099 OID, and get paid for going in. And that's exactly what I'm about to do right now. I'm getting paid for going in. $6 million, $6,175,000 for going in. They trip you, it's a win-win situation for us, man. You don't lose. You don't lose. You don't lose. And that's it. That's all I got for you. Take it easy. Ladies and gentlemen, you guys have a nice day. Talk to you later.